Trayambikam yajamahe sugandhim pushtivardhanam urvarukam eva bandhanat mritayo mokshiya mamrita. Om Trayambikam yajamahe sugandhim pushtivardhanam urvarukam eva bandhanat mritayo mokshiya mamrita. Om Trayambikam yajamahe sugandhim pushtivardhanam urvarukam eva bandhanat mritayo mokshiya mamritat. I thank everybody who's listening to me today. I have been talking on Patanjali Yoga Sutra at one side, and I have been talking about Kayakalp on the other side. You must listen all what I'm talking about Kayakalp. Kayakalp is a beautiful phenomena which will happen to you. It's a process of fountain of youth. You know, philosophy is one aspect of life. Philosophy is one aspect of life which gives you the understanding of why we are here, what we are doing, why one should do something. That's philosophy. But when we talk about Kayakalp, it talks about fountain of youth, how yoga will bring in the process within you. When you talk Bharat Thakur Kayakalp, you can hear all the videos about me on Kayakalp. And now we're going to talk today about Patanjali Yoga Sutra. I've talked a lot of knowledge about how Patanjali Yoga Sutra can benefit everyone's life. In my last lesson, I talked about Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha. Yoga. So first of all, let's by heart the sutra. Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha. And you know, when I used to be with my teacher, when I used to work with my master, he used to always whack us. The moment our tone decreased, when our chanting pattern decreased. This science is all about practicing the right sound effect. Like when you practice Islam, you know, each and every text written there, it is a lesson from Almighty. It is a lesson from Almighty. You know, I know Quran because my life, I have gone through Sufi teachers and I have learned a lot of lessons from there. And the way you say certain words, the way you speak, you know, this language, this mouth in your whole body is a very, 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 very intelligent animal. You know, you have seen that if someone is from Philippines, they cannot pronounce certain words. If someone is from Greece, they cannot pronounce certain words. But if you know Sanskrit, you will pronounce every word. So, for that, I want you to learn with me today the art of speaking the word the way it should be spoken. Yoga. Once again, Yoga Chitta. It's not Yoga Chitta Vritti. No, don't go far. Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha. The other day I spoke about Chitta. Chitta is byproduct of Purush and Prakriti, and later I will take you to the next phase. But in my last lesson I taught you something. If you want to work on Chitta, you have to sharpen your Buddhi. Now let's work on, because if I move ahead to the next sutra, I have not explained you this sutra beautifully, because I can explain you Chitta, but underlying Chitta is Buddhi. Just below the sutra is Buddhi. And Buddhi is something very wise. The moment you say, Buddhi can be compared to English word as wisdom, as wise. You know, in Africa, when you go, in Africa there is a beautiful society, beautiful cult we can call it. I have been in Africa and I stayed with them. And in everyone's house, there's a small old wooden statue with a red color, and they call them as the wise man. Why I'm speaking about wise man? That's Buddhi. And you need to understand Buddhi very well. Buddhi, when I talked to you the other day, that there is manas, which dreams. There is buddhi, that sharpens the dream. There is chitta, the platform, and ego, which disrupts the process. Now, I have explained you about manas. I will take deeper into manas some next lesson, but today let's understand buddhi. Now let's talk about. There are many people in this world, and all talk about someone lives at a profile of life who just does a daily life. There are certain people who just wants to be involved in daily life, his family, his life, his pattern of living, and there are certain people who is prolific in doing the same thing which we call as corporate today. Which we actually call as corporate today. You know, this segment, which is a farmer, which is a goldsmith, who is a laborer, has certain aroma of spiritual life in them. Because you have to understand that why there is some spirituality lesson left with them. And I don't say corporates are bad. No, I don't mean to say anything as bad. But the idea is something corporates are losing. And that is working by hands. And buddhi can be sharpened if you can work by hand. How can buddhi be sharpened? First lesson towards understanding buddhi is that you have to work by hand. Now, what are the daily life in hand? Today we have television, which can be pressed by just a button of knob. You can clean your clothes by washing machine. You can heat your food with a micro oven. You can clean your entire house by a robo. Man is losing the touch of this hand. Man is actually losing touch of doing things by hand. And that's why the logical mind, the inquisitive mind, which further becomes the creative mind, is slowly de-sharpened. Is slowly unsharpened. It's like you put a cutter and a pencil and you sharpen it. Now turn it other side. What will happen? It'll sharpen it again. So now let's work on buddhi at a different perspective. What are things you can do by hand? Watering of plants, growing plants, watching them every day. It's a beautiful phenomenon. It's so beautiful to see that you just put a seed and that becomes a full-fledged plant, and the process of growing from a seed to the plant is a transformation of not the seed to the plant if observation is put deep into the system. When observation goes closer, when observation goes obsessive, when observation goes so deep that when eye and ear and senses all work together, that sharpens the buddhi. When eye, ear, and entire senses gets involved in certain activity, and you get so absorbed in that activity that you feel that yes, something new has grown within me. Something really new has grown within me. So buddhi, it's very nice to know that buddhi is the CA, chartered accountant of my body. It decides. Only buddhi has that ability to say that, yes, you can only do this much. Buddhi has that passion. Buddhi has that obsession of one thing. You cannot do this and you can do this. So the ability to judge, ability to, how do I say? Ability to say that this is incorrect for you. So buddhi is that's why buddhi is very close to the chitta, and on the other side, this side on the other hand, ego is also close to chitta. So if buddhi is close to chitta and on the other side, ego is close to chitta, it's like a mother with two children. One is spoiled, another is judgmental, another is watching every move of this universe. So one aspect of buddhi is to grow the observation. What is one aspect of buddhi? I told you, if you want to, the moment you start working with hand, you will start observing things better. Because the time spent in doing an activity will be larger. It's simple as that. That if from childhood you have spent time with your family, the son grows different, then you have visited weekly to your child. So if you use technology too much, you'll start disconnecting and you'll start losing power of this hand. You'll actually lose power of this hand. Hand, that's why I say, no, hand cannot, see, it's like the neurons in the brain, the central nervous system in the brain informs the hand moves because the neuron wants it to move. So when you're digging, when you're putting something to the flower, it's observing. The whole art of working with hand is to do with observation. So buddhi can be sharpened if I spend enough time in observing things. And even in the world of acting, the first lesson you're taught is to observe. The best of actors, the best of acting schools of the world teaches the first lesson to act. Or acting is actually enacting. Actually, what is acting? Acting is just ability to enact. That means I'm so close to what I'm doing, it does not look like acting. So, when I am going to now talk about sharpening the buddhi, the second aspect of sharpening the buddhi comes from the world of intuition. I've also added creativity. If you work by hand too much, you will see your creative ability will start growing. It will start growing beautifully. And on the other hand, now there is a special technology given by God to this human body, to this human mind, that there's some intuitive ability in you. It's not to go in that flight, and that flight crashes. We have millions of stories around it. Intuition. To understand intuition, we have to go to an ability of this body in the open space, kinesthetic sense it's called. So intuition and kinesthetic sense are very nearly close. Kinesthetic, it's the ability of this human body. What is kinesthetic? Ability of the human body to react into a open space without actually watching it. In sports, most of the sportsmen have great intuitive ability. You go and research. Most of the sportsmen who has developed the kinesthetic sense to that level, basketball players, the ball is here and he's looking there and he shifts the ball from there. It's kinesthetic sense. Now, when I'm talking about intuitive ability, You know, a lot of people say he's very intuitive. But yoga will teach you a science to actually grow your intuitive ability. And then you have to go into science of tantra. Then you have to walk into some chapters of tantra to understand the intuitive ability of this human mind. No one has actually understood this human mind so beautifully, because actually we don't know where is heart center, where is lung center, where is cardiac. We actually don't know. It's presumption of science that they think they know. But if you read Gray's Anatomy book, you'll actually not find a lot of centers in the brain which has yet to be explored. But science of yoga has watched much deeper levels of this human brain. And intuitive ability is one of the very, very, very beautiful ability which one needs to develop to understand that to sharpen your buddhi, I need to develop my intuitive ability. Now, I will teach you lessons of meditation by which you can grow your intuitive ability. And please practice. It won't happen in 2 days, 5 days. It will take you 10 to 12 years to master intuitive ability. Our science is slow, but very progressive. Our science says that to grow my intuitive ability, I will take 12 colors of ribbon. What do I take? 12 colors of ribbon, cut to the size of this. I'll cut the size of ribbon, this size, and then I will create a small little table. And I will keep this colored ribbon there. I will blindfold my eyes. That means I will cover my eyes and start sensing color. In my childhood days, my master used to do this drill with us and used to whack us that no, it's not green, it's yellow. And we would not understand. I said, are you mad for me to put cover on my eyes and say which is the color of the fabric? But this is how Tantra taught me to grow my intuitive ability. Now, what do I do with this? My eyes are closed. I am completely blindfolded. Now I have to start working on my senses. And that's why Patanjali puts the next sutra towards senses. I'll open that chapter the moment I'll open that lesson, the moment I explain you now various ability to improve intuitive ability. First. Now what do I do? Fabric is the same. So I can't feel it by touch. One of the ability of senses is touch. Smell. Start smelling them. Hello, it's fabric. It does not smell. It smells all same. Now increase your observation so beautifully. I won't tell you all lessons because then you will mess it up. I want you to explore it from here. But this is a beautiful lesson for improving. Initially you will see in first year you will be able to say 7. Now don't put law of probability. Excuse me. I know the scientific community will say law of probability will work. So if I touch 3, 2 will come right, 2 will come wrong. No. That's not my science. That's your science. That's what you have learned. And that's only you know. Probability. I'm not in a probability world. Start working. Give it a year. Message me down my message in the YouTube and say, oh, it really works. And that's, in the Sufi world, is called Safa. You develop magic. You work. You breathe. You start experimenting. I will explain you parameters to work on. Stop your breathing, do intense breathing, do lot of breathing before you do it, do lot of stretching, do lot of opening up yourself, laugh, cry, dance, yell, shout, whatever you have to do. There are many, many ways to work on yourself. And if this develops, imagine out of 12 colors, you're able to tell 12 colors. Do you know what I'm talking about? You sharpen the buddhi to another level. You sharpen the buddhi to such a beautiful level when the mind becomes the master of judging what is right and wrong in this world. What is right and wrong? The judgment factor, when grows, I know my manas body is perfect and my ego body won't be heard, which teaches me illusion, which makes me believe that my illusion is this universe. I have to live in the world of illusion. So by practicing or sharpening this skill, I'm able to not only control the manas body, which is the manufacturing unit of this universe, but also the ego body. I tell the ego body, I understood your trip. Now, another beautiful part of the buddhi is memory. Another beautiful aspect of buddhi, when you are called wise, when you memorize everything, when you can memorize every smallest little thing. We call it as a photo memory. We call it as a photo memory. How do I sharpen my buddhi with another ability? First, I worked by my hands, increased my observation. That's why A comes first, then comes B, and then comes C, and then comes D. I'm taking you to a process where you can really sharpen your buddhi to a point where pain will not hit you, where incidences that disturbs normal people's life is not going to affect you, which is taking you from a trip of ignorance to awareness. For today, this much. Next lesson, I'm going to talk to you about how to sharpen your memory.